Hello friends, welcome you all to the next lecture of JCE eConnect series of online lectures. We are into module number 4, Design for Shear. In previous lecture, we have discussed about definition of shear, its action on pre-stress members, as well as we have discussed about the formula which we will be using to compute the stresses, that is the principal stresses generated in the pre-stressed concrete members. So in today's lecture, let us start with focusing on some important points, and further let's go ahead with the examples. Now first point to be considered here is, for rectangular section, as discussed in the previous video, the shear force is of main concern in the top half portion, that is above the neutral axis. Hence, to calculate the shear stress, following procedure can be taken into consideration. That is, tau v is equal to V into S divided by I into B, where V is the shear force or the reaction what we get, S is the first moment of area, I is the moment of inertia of the section, and B is the width. You can take the notation capital B or small b. So therefore S is equal to A into Y bar, where A is the area of the section on which the shear force has the impact, which is given by B into D by 2. So this is an important point here. In calculating area, you have to take half of the depth only. Then Y bar is half of D by 2, that is D by 4. I formula we all know for a rectangular section is BD cube by 12. Therefore substituting, we get the value of tau v as 3 by 2 into bracket V divided by B into D. So this direct formula can be applied for computation of tau v in case of a rectangular section. Now in some books or in some examples, instead of the term small d, term h can be used for representing height or depth of the section. Now next, when we have an sagging cable profile or a curvature profile, we have an angle theta. Hence the pre-stressing force P gets divided into two components, one along the horizontal, other along the vertical. The horizontal component is given by PH is equal to P cos theta, whereas the vertical component is given by PV is equal to P sin theta. Now if in case theta is very small, the angle what you get is very small, the horizontal component becomes P cos theta. As theta is very small, it can be taken directly as P, because if theta is very small, cos of theta is equal to 1. Whereas vertical component P sin theta is taken as P into theta, because if theta is small, sin of theta is theta itself. Therefore we can take PH is equal to P and PY is equal to P theta for solving the examples. Therefore now if our beam has a UDL, that is uniformly distributed load of intensity W kilonewton per meter, sorry it has come down, okay, it should be up, then how we calculate the shear force? We get the shear force as WL by 2, that is the reaction, minus PV, that is the vertical component of the pre-stress. Okay, PV is the vertical component of the pre-stress. So this formula and the previous formula, if you note down, it will be easy for solving the examples. Now let's move on to the first example. A pre-stressed concrete beam of span 10 meters has a rectangular section 120 by 300. It is axially pre-stressed by an effective force of 180 kilonewton. Here 180 kilonewton becomes the pre-stressing force. The beam is supports a uniform load, that is a UDL of 5 kilonewton per meter, which is including the self weight, means we need not compute the self weight again. Compare the magnitude of the principal tension developed in the beam with and without axial pre-stress. So here we have to compute the tension developed in the beam Once we have to consider the axial pre-stress, that is the effect of axial pre-stress, and second time we need not consider the effect of axial pre-stress. So let's start with the calculation. So first is we are getting the area, we are computing I, WD is the given data. Now these all things you should be able to do it very fast. Then the support reaction, that is the shear force, we get it as W into L by 2 as 25 kilonewton. Therefore maximum shear stress at the support, now we are directly using the formula for rectangular section, 3 by 2 into V divided by B into D or H, any term which is there. Okay, so it comes out to be 1.05 Newton per mm square. So we have computed the shear stress at the support as 1.05 Newton per mm square. So maximum shear stress at the support already we have computed. Therefore principal stresses, now here Fx is yet to be computed and Fy is not given. Okay, that is currently this is the first part where we are not considering any axial forces, neither Fx nor Fy. Therefore from the formula which we have taken down in the last lecture, Fx plus Fy divided by 2, that term automatically becomes 0. So what is left is half square root of Fx plus 4 tau v square, that term only remains because Fx is not there, Fy is not there. So substituting the value, half square root of 4 into tau v square, tau v as we have computed above, we get the value of principal stress. Okay, we get the value of principal stress. Now let's find the axial pre-stress, that is Fx, which we used to find in the previous examples also. Okay, so now what happens to the axial pre-stress? 180 divided by the area, where 180 is the effective pre-stressing force, 180 into 10 raised to 3 divided by 36 into 10 raised to 3, which is the area of the section. We get the axial pre-stress as 5 Newton per mm square. So we have computed Fx. Next, the maximum and minimum principal stresses including the effect of Fx. So previous part of the example we only took one half of the formula, that is plus or minus 1 by 2 square root of Fx square plus 4 tau v square, where Fx was 0 as we had not computed it, and the first solution required was without any axial forces. The second solution is with the effect of axial forces, hence we have calculated Fx and we have to substitute it in this formula. Therefore substituting the value of Fx, which we have got as 5, we get maximum principal stress as 5.23 in compression and minus 0.23 in tension. Therefore we can find here how the stresses vary. Okay, once your axial pre-stress comes into picture, that's what I had explained in the previous class, that once Fx starts acting, okay, it reduces the effect of shear force, which is one of the major advantages of pre-stressed concrete beams over RCC beams. Okay, this point can be nicely highlighted here when we have considered Fx, how the stresses have varied from the previous calculation, where we have not considered the impact of axial stress in the form of Fx. Therefore, with the axial pressure, the principal tension is reduced by, initial principal tension was 1.05 minus the principal tension now is 0.23 divided by 1.05 into 100, that is 78%. So application of Fx reduces the principal tension by 78%. This is a very big value and will have a considerable impact. Okay, will have a considerable impact on the design. Okay, let's move on to the next example. It is somewhat continuation of the previous example itself, in that the section remains same, other details are the same. What is changing here is, now we have a cable profile with an eccentricity of 100 mm. That is, the cable profile is parabolic because it is mentioned that at the ends or at the supports the eccentricity is 0. So we have a parabolic profile which we have to consider. Now in the important points mentioned at the starting of the lecture, the second point here comes into importance. So now what we have to find, when the profile is made parabolic, how the principal stresses vary as compared to when the profile of the cable is straight. That comparison we have to make. So let's start. Now as we have a sloping cable profile, the formula for that cable profile is 4E by L, considering single jacking end, for getting the slope. Okay, the slope or angle. So we get the angle as 0.04 radians, which is a very small value, and as discussed in the first part of the video, as the profile is parabolic, we get split forces, that is a horizontal component for P and a vertical component for P. The vertical component for P is nothing but P into theta, that is P into 0.04, which comes out to be 7.2, and horizontal component of the pre-stress is nothing but P, which is 180 kilonewton itself. Okay, so the second important point which I had mentioned at the starting of the video has been used here. Therefore, the net shear force is, initially we have found out the reaction in the previous example which had come to be 25. Now here we have to subtract the effect of VA, that is the vertical component of the pre-stressing force. PA has to be subtracted, which is 7.2. Therefore, the net shear force V is equal to 25 minus 7.2, that is 17.80 kilonewton. So friends, here itself we can see shear force itself has reduced from 25 to 17.8 when the profile of the cable is changed to a parabolic profile. Now therefore the maximum shear stress, using the same formula 3 by 2 V divided by B into H, we get maximum shear stress as 0.74 Newton per mm square. Now same calculation as we have done in the previous part, axial pre-stress, that is the impact of pre-stressing force Fx, 180 divided by the area, which we get as 5 Newton per mm square. This is the same calculation for finding Fx. Therefore, using this Fx value and the new tau v value, which is 0.74, substituting for finding the principal stresses F max and F minimum, we get a maximum compressive principal stress of 5.12, whereas the tensile stress remains to be 0.12, which is negative. So guys, we are here more bothered about the tension. We want the entire section to be compressive so that no tension is imparted and further shear cracks will not develop. So our main focus is to overcome this tension force. So in previous case, that is the first problem, first part, we got the tensile stress as 0.23 with a straight profile which did not have any eccentricity. In the next case, as we provided a parabolic profile with 100 mm eccentricity, that we were able to reduce the tension to minus 0.12. Therefore, in comparison with the previous example where we got a stress of 0.23, here we are able to reduce that stress to 0.12. Hence total reduction possible is 48%. So see how important is the cable profile. Therefore, when we compare it with the initial thing without any value of Fx, okay, 88.5% of Fx can be kept in control, that is the tensile effect caused by the shear forces can be kept into control up to 88% by providing a parabolic profile. That's why your PSC members are more safe in shear as compared to your RCC sections. Now, in the third example, one more new thing is introduced, that is, in addition to the pre-stressed, a vertical cable imparting 2.5 Newton per mm square in the direction of the depth of the beam is provided. Now this is vertical pre-stressing. Generally 99% in case of beams, practically we don't do vertical pre-stressing because the depth of the beams compared to the length is very small, and if you go to do vertical pre-stressing, maximum of the stress over that small length will be lost in anchorage slip. Okay, anchorage slip, that pre-stressing force will be lost. Hence 99% of the times vertical pre-stressing is not done in beams. So, but in this example, just for comparison's sake, they have introduced a parameter of vertical pre-stressing, which is Fy in the calculations, which is given as 2.5. Okay, so now in this case we have Fx from the previous example itself, continuation as 5 Newton per mm square. Fy is given, which is vertical pre-stressing as 2.5. Shear stress is the same as we computed it earlier, that is 0.74. Therefore, using these values now, if we compute the principal stresses, that is F maximum and F minimum, okay, we get the compression as 5.2, whereas we don't get any tension. That is, the second value also comes out to be positive, that is minimum F value, that is the minimum principal stress, also is a positive value, which is 2.3. That means we are able to overcome the tension. Okay, therefore by transverse pre-stressing, the principal tension is completely eliminated, resulting in a compressive state of stress at the support. That means by providing the vertical pre-stressing, we are able to eliminate the effect of shear. That is, we are able to eliminate tension, we can say, which in turn is the result of, which in turn causes the shear cracks. Okay, so now in this example, what we have studied, first we started with a beam where there was no Fx and Fy. We got the principal stresses, compression positive, tension negative. Then we took into account Fx, the impact of Fx with no eccentricity, a straight cable profile computed, and we found that still we have the tensile stress which is existing, but it has come down, but it was still existing. Then in the next case, what we did is, with the same beam, we had a parabolic cable profile with an eccentricity of 100 mm and jacking was done at one end. So for that profile we computed, and as the profile was parabolic, we got two components, one along horizontal, one along vertical. That vertical component cuts down the effect of shear force. So further we calculated the shear stress and then came for the calculation of principal stresses. In that again we found that the stress further reduced, that is the tensile stress further reduced, but still it was existing. Then came the third case where what we did is we introduced vertical pre-stressing action. Okay, we introduced vertical pre-stressing action of 2.5 Newton per mm square. We again calculated, and now in this case we found that both F maximum and F minimum have come out to be a positive value. That is, we were able to eliminate the tensile stresses completely. So this is a fine example where we are able to see the impact of pre-stressing forces on the shear. Okay, so please go through this example. In further videos we will be solving more examples. These are the analysis examples. Still the design examples